There's one question that's divided the Harry Potter fandom for years. Yeah, one that lingers long after the final credits fade and the spells are forgotten. Was Albus Dumbledore truly the wise, selfless hero we all believed in? Or was he a master manipulator who played everyone, even Harry, like chess pieces on his board? At first glance, Dumbledore seems like everything we'd want in a leader. Calm, kind, endlessly patient. He's the archetype of wisdom in robes, the twinkle-eyed mentor who guides our hero toward greatness. But if you look closely, there's another Dumbledore hiding beneath that surface, one who plans, who withholds, and who's not afraid to sacrifice lives for the greater good. That phrase, the greater good, it's not random. It was once Dumbledore's own belief as a young man. A belief he shared with Gellert Grindelwald, his brilliant but dangerous friend. Together they dreamed of a world ruled by wizards, where muggles were controlled for their own good. It's one of the darkest stains on Dumbledore's past, one that shaped everything he became. When tragedy struck and his sister Ariana died during their confrontation, Dumbledore turned away from ambition and toward redemption, or at least that's what we're told. But here's the thing. Guilt doesn't erase manipulation. Dumbledore may have changed his goal, but not his methods. He still played the game, only this time he used it for what he believed was right. He became the ultimate puppeteer of destiny, quietly pulling strings from the shadows. And the more you look, the more you realize nothing in Harry's journey was left to chance. Dumbledore knew about the prophecy before Harry was even old enough to speak. He knew one child would have to face Voldemort, and when he discovered it was Harry, he didn't just protect him, he shaped him. Every hardship Harry faced at Hogwarts, every loss, every test, all part of a plan Dumbledore had already considered. He gave Harry just enough information to survive, but never enough to truly understand what was happening. Why? Because Dumbledore needed Harry to make certain choices, like choices that would lead him willingly to sacrifice himself. Think about that for a second. Dumbledore knew Harry had to die. He knew the only way to destroy Voldemort completely was for Harry to willingly walk into his own death. And instead of telling him outright, he raised him for that moment. It's chilling when you frame it that way, isn't it? Now, some might argue that Dumbledore had no other choice, that his silence and manipulation were acts of necessity. After all, how do you tell a child that his destiny is to die? How do you prepare someone to face evil without breaking their spirit first? Maybe Dumbledore believed he was sparing Harry a heavier burden until the very end. Maybe he truly loved the boy as his own. But still, love doesn't erase control. Even in his moments of tenderness, Dumbledore always held the upper hand. He was the only one who knew the full truth, the only one who saw the entire board, and he used everyone. Snape, for example, whose life became a tragic series of orders and regrets. Dumbledore manipulated Snape's grief for Lily into loyalty so absolute that even death couldn't sever it. He didn't just ask Snape to protect Harry, he asked him to die when the time came. And Snape agreed, thinking it was for love, when really it was still for Dumbledore's plan. That's the brilliance and the horror of Albus Dumbledore. He understood human nature better than anyone else. He knew how to inspire loyalty, how to steer people's choices without ever seeming to. When you think about it, he was as much a mastermind as Voldemort. Only his game was cloaked in kindness. Yet that's what makes Dumbledore such a fascinating figure. Because manipulation doesn't always come from malice. Sometimes it comes from love, twisted by fear. Dumbledore feared power, his own most of all. He once admitted that he avoided the position of Minister for Magic because he didn't trust himself with authority, so he became a puppeteer instead, a man who could still shape the world without ever holding the crown. And maybe that's what makes him truly human. Dumbledore isn't good or evil, he's both. He's flawed, brilliant, broken, and burdened by guilt. He's the embodiment of what happens when intelligence meets trauma. When someone so afraid of making the wrong choice ends up making every choice in secret. There's something deeply tragic about that, because at the end of it all, Dumbledore didn't escape his own plan. He too was a piece on the board. He knew he'd die by Snape's wand long before it happened. He chose it, orchestrated it, because even his death had to serve a purpose. It was control until the very last breath, and maybe that's why we still argue about him. Because we want to believe in heroes, we want to believe that wisdom means purity, that kindness can't coexist with manipulation, but Dumbledore reminds us that even the wisest among us can be flawed, that doing the right thing isn't always clean or noble. Sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it's cruel. Still, Dumbledore gave Harry something no manipulator ever does: choice. When the time came, Harry wasn't forced to die. He chose to, and in that moment, the puppet cut his own strings. That's what makes Dumbledore's legacy so complicated. He didn't just shape a hero, he created one who could think for himself. So was Dumbledore a hero or a manipulator? The truth is, he was both. A man haunted by his past, trying to atone through others, a genius who saw the world in equations of sacrifice and salvation, but also a man who cared deeply and quietly, even when his choices hurt the people he loved most. Maybe that's the lesson he leaves behind, that leadership, wisdom, even love aren't pure. They come with shadows, they demand impossible choices. Dumbledore was never meant to be perfect, he was meant to be real, and perhaps that's what makes him the most human character of all, the man who carried the weight of every choice, every lie, every secret, so others could live in the light. Whether you see that as heroism or manipulation depends on how much you believe in the greater good.
If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to like, share, and comment. It really helps me keep making more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and for keeping the magic alive. Peace out.